So, in 1954, the good old US military, in cahoots with Monarch, a secret organization that clearly missed its calling as a PR firm, decides to deal with the Godzilla problem by luring him to Bikini Atoll and throwing a nuclear bomb party. It's like trying to invite a neighbor over for dinner and then setting your house on fire to get rid of that pesky ant infestation. You have to admire their creativity. Fast forward to 1999, and we meet Dr. Ishiro Serizawa and his trusty sidekick, Dr. Vivian Graham. They're off to the Philippines on what sounds like a routine geology field trip until they stumble upon a colossal fossilized skeleton and 2 spores. It's like a surprise gift from Mother Nature, only the gift is a giant monster's leftovers. And yes, they decide to bring one of these spores back to the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository in Nevada because where else would you store potential giant monster eggs but in a place filled with radioactive waste? It's the monster version of Extreme Home Makeover. Now, let's talk about the Brody family, our unsuspecting heroes. Joe and Sandra Brody work at the Janjira nuclear power plant in Japan. You'd think working at a nuclear power plant is a safe job, but not in this movie. The plant starts experiencing seismic activity, and Joe and Sandra rush to the scene. They assemble a team to check for damage, and that's when things go boom. It's like going to work and realizing you accidentally walked into an action movie. Joe's son, Ford, watches this catastrophe unfold from his classroom, and his reaction is probably, well, there goes my peaceful family life. It's like the opening scene of every disaster movie ever. 15 years later, Ford is now a U.S. Navy explosive disposal officer, living a relatively normal life in San Francisco with his wife, Elle, and their son, Sam. But the drama isn't over yet. He gets a call informing him that his father, Joe, has been arrested for trespassing in Janjira. It turns out Joe picked up a mysterious frequency, the same one he detected just before the nuclear plant's destruction, and he's convinced it's connected to the disaster. As they investigate the Janjira quarantine zone, they discover something shocking: it's not radioactive at all. In fact, there's some strange activity happening near the old nuclear plant. And just when they think they've hit the jackpot, they're arrested by some very serious security agents. But what they find inside the plant is beyond anyone's imagination. There's a massive chrysalis on top of the reactor, containing the creature that escaped in the Philippines. It's like a bizarre science experiment gone wrong, and now they're dealing with a gigantic winged insect-like creature. Of course, it's not as simple as, oh, there's a giant bug, let's get out of here. No, this creature starts wreaking havoc, emitting electromagnetic pulses, and generally making life difficult for everyone involved. It's like a classic case of what could possibly go wrong. And that's when Dr. Serizawa and Dr. Graham show up, revealing that they work for Monarch, a mysterious organization dedicated to studying giant monsters and keeping their existence under wraps. Because, that's what you do when you discover colossal creatures. According to Graham, Monarch was formed in 1954 after the USS Nautilus inadvertently woke up an ancient alpha predator named Godzilla. You'd think after awakening a giant lizard, they'd consider a career change, but no. They decide to keep studying these monsters in secret. And let's not forget that they also tried to kill Godzilla with nuclear strikes. It's like a comedy of errors, but with nuclear bombs. As the story unfolds, we learn about the mutos, massive unidentified terrestrial organisms, parasites from the same era as Godzilla who also have a taste for radiation. It turns out the one they discovered is just a baby, and there's a bigger, female muto on the loose. It's like a creature feature with a touch of family drama. Now, there's a plan in motion to use a nuclear warhead to lure all 3 monsters out to sea and blow them up. It's the classic let's save the day with an explosive solution approach. But not everyone is on board with this plan. Dr. Serizawa believes that only Godzilla can stop the mutos. So, it's not just a battle of monsters, it's a battle of ideas and philosophies. And that's when we meet Ford again. He's assigned to a team transporting the nuclear missiles to San Francisco, where the monsters are headed. Of course, it's not a smooth ride. They cross paths with the female muto, there's an epic battle, and Ford's buddy Morales doesn't make it. It's like a roller coaster ride of action, explosions, and giant monsters. As the chaos continues, we see the monsters causing destruction, the military trying to stop them, and a race against time to disarm the warhead that's right in the middle of the muto's nest. It's like a high-stakes game of who can save the world first. But here's the twist: Godzilla comes to the rescue. Just when you think all hope is lost, the king of the monsters roars back into action. There's an epic showdown, buildings come crashing down, and it's like a clash of the titans. In the end, it's Ford who takes on the mission to disarm the warhead. There's tension, suspense, and a sense of impending doom. But he manages to save the day, and the warhead is detonated at a safe distance. It's like a final act in a thrilling action movie. And as the dust settles, we see Godzilla awakening and making his way back to the sea. He's the king of the monsters, and the world watches in awe. It's like the grand finale of a superhero saga, with the hero earning his title and disappearing into the horizon.